Okay.
Jan Christian Halfbrodt of Mark
Yes.
welcome to 69 Face of Rock. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm fine. I was expecting the interview, and today is a good day because we released our fourth single right now. So for me, it's a happy day. First reactions are very good. So I'm in a good mood now.
Excellent. Let's get into it. It's been 7 years since you had an album out. What
Yeah.
was going on in those 7 years with Mob Rules?
Oh, a lot was going on. Yeah, I know it's a long time since our last album, we know, but we've never been away the whole time. We made a lot of touring for Beast Reborn. Also released a live album for this tour. And yeah, then Corona kicked in. Everybody was on hold in this time. For us, it was, yeah, what to say, we had luck and unluck because we were just finished with everything. We just finished the last concert and then Corona came and we were really below zero. So everything was done and this would be the place to start something new. And then in Corona times, we didn't know what will come. So we waited until everything got in motion. As 2 years later, the world was somehow resetted. Our drummer decided to leave the band, and that's another point that slowed us down. Then came our anniversary. We prepared a special box for our anniversary, and during the time we also put out some singles, some "Hello, we are alive" signs from us. But yeah, time went by so fast, and then it was time for now to bring our album on the track. So during the time there was also some recordings and stuff, but now
Mhm.
we knew we are late.
Never a dull moment. With so much time down between the studio records, how did you approach this album? What was going through your mind when you were writing those songs?
Yeah, we had during this Corona time and during this time when Nicolas left the band, we took a lot of time to focus on ourselves. We had some things that had to be discussed in the band. You can call it something like a psychotherapy we did together. So we sat in our rehearsal room and talked about restructured how we will do our work and also talked about what is mob rules, what defines us, what are we aiming for, and maybe what are our uniqueness. So how can we go on another album? And then we found out that most people appreciate the old albums. When we started with Savage Land and Temple of Two Sons, at this time we somehow had a topic that we dealt with was a dystopian wasteland topic. We had a consistent story, and even our songwriting had a certain style. And we found out that in the last albums, we always said in interviews, okay, we want to go somehow back to our old album, somehow back to that style in which Babul started. And then Klaus, our singer, had the idea, why don't do it full circle? Really keep on the work of these albums and continue the story, continue the look and feel, and really go back to the old times and make a circle. So after 30 years, why not try this out? And with this idea in mind, we started the songwriting and we started the concept and textual part and the opticals and the views and everything. And it felt very good to dig back in our past and see what defined us as a band and what made us brought us to this point where we are now. And that was the approach to somehow go back to our roots, but another iteration of the cycle. So
Was it easy to regain that feel and continue with that storyline?
no, it wasn't. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was quite easy. So I never thought about this.
Mhm.
For me, it's I'm responsible for the lyrics mostly. So I took the old albums and I had an interview with Matthias, our former guitarist, who was responsible for all the lyrics, and I asked him why did he write it like this way? What was his intentions? And somehow I feel a story told by a band is somehow every time connected to the band itself. So it somehow represents the story. And for me, it was quite clear to say when we continue the story, it should also continue 30 years after the events of the first album. So, like we as a band have go to different situations and evolved, now it's the same for the story and for the characters in the story that they now have 30 years later new things that they have to face. And with this anchor point, it somehow it suddenly came, it suddenly got into the flow. And as the first songs came out, it created that mood, and we were totally into this topic.
Mhm. For those who are new to Mob Rules, can you maybe elaborate a little bit what the storyline is from the beginning to now?
Yeah, the first album was called Savage Land, and I would say it's a Mad Max inspired story. So this scenario in a dystopian world where everything has been broken down, and the last survivors in this desert wasteland are trying to find new hope. So it's a group of people who try to leave their destroyed homeland and find shelter somewhere, and they gather and walk to this savage land, how it's called, under the lead of a very ambitious person called the ruler. It's the guy you can see on the cover, a mysterious guy who takes the lead and keeps the people safe on their journey. And of course, there's always a metaphorical phase, so to find new hope, find your place in a destroyed world, and so ever. It's the same like find your place in your own world, or you can connect this. And this ruler is somehow a good guy who helps the people, and somehow a bad guy because he's a ruler, he's the leader, he uses his power. So you're not quite sure what is in his intention. And in the end of the first album, they found shelter in a green valley. So the next album, Temple of Two Suns, you can see in the cover this green valley, a safe haven where they start to build a new society. So that's the idea behind, and all the struggles and that happens when you rebuild your life and to obey cosmic gods who maybe one day bring you into space and whatever. So that's the main topic behind, and this ruler becoming the central figure of
Mhm.
the
Uh,
godlike person.
Musically, how did Mob Rules change in those 7 years?
Um, I would say we find more more straight and more heavy, more on the point, I would say. With Beast Reborn, it was much heavier than our albums before, and I guess we followed this path to do a more direct songwriting, more focus on a certain heaviness, but also we kept our trademarks that an album must have ups and downs, where we don't want to use common song structures and somehow keep our progressive roots a little bit, but get more on the point. And when you think about our influences, it's undeniable that Sven and Klaus are mainly influenced by bands like Maiden, like Judas Priest, like Queensryche, and so on. And these bands are able to transport a kind of feeling, a kind of heaviness that somehow feels natural. And I think there are not so many bands nowadays who are able to sound like this. And this is what we tried to have this mood, like you feel okay, I'm on the live concert on the one hand, but on the other hand, it sounds heavy and goes forward. It's hard to describe music. I don't
No,
know.
I know it is. I know it is. Um, uh,
Yeah.
let's talk about the songs. Back to Savage Land. That sounds like an anthem to be. What are your feelings about this track?
Oh, I love the dragons. That's the message that we wanted to say. So it was obviously the best choice for the first single. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to go back to Savage Land, our first album, and just to know this title. It says it all. Yeah, we are back, and we go back to Savage Land, and we bring the story to life again, and bring this feeling back again. And it's really an anthem. I like how it represents everything that is more Roots now. It's heavy, but in the middle part, it's this melodic solo part and this unisono keyboard and guitar stuff. And in the end, the chorus evolves and Klaus can show his whole range of singing.
Mhm.
So I'm very happy with this song. And it was for me very important that this is the first single because I guess this is the best comeback that we could have chosen.
Definitely a big, great track. Future Looms has a very distinctive European power metal sound. What can
Yeah.
you tell me about that song?
This song, yeah, it um for us, since we are existing since 30 years, we come from a time where yeah, metal somehow sounded like this, and I miss these days. I miss this kind of albums, and The song, the music was written by Klaus and Sven again, and as I first heard it, I felt like back in my youth, in my child room, where I listened to the first bands, so like Halloween and so on. So this part, and I think this represents the topic very good that we want to keep on this kind of metal that existed in this really golden area of power metal, I would say. And we are one of the few bands who survived till this time, and I'm very happy that we could bring out a track like this. It has this, as I said, a European power metal feeling that feels, I hope you see it the same, more raw and not so overproduced. You have this raw energy of how bands play who were whatever. These bands were influenced by Gary Moore and so on. So this is this kind of music that I also like and I grew up with.
Definitely a mission accomplished here. Now, next one, Trial and the Trail of Fear. That to me sounds very mysterious. Tell me about the feel of that song.
Oh yeah, try to tell the fear. This song was one of the last songs that was written when the album was finished and when the storyline was planned. We had one track that was a power ballad that was on the spot where this track now is, and we felt that we slowed the album too much down with this ballad. So we skipped the ballad and put it on our bonus CD. And so there was a new song that would have been written. But in the story, it's a part where desperation sets in, where the group is now in the savage land and feels overwhelmed and despaired by the brutal environment. And it's a place, okay, we are short for giving up, but keep all our forces to survive and get through. That's the main part in the story. And this is what the song expresses very good, that you are a little bit in a situation where you don't know how to escape, but have to carry on. And I guess this desperation comes good with the beginning, with this piano line, and it's very, it starts very slow, but this is powerful part sets in, and then this is this very speedy solo part that feels like, okay, now I have to raise all my power to get through this hard situation. So this is the idea behind.
Not too many people realize that you're not only a keyboard player, but also a lyricist. So how did you become such a wordsmith?
To be honest, I was a little bit surprised with my own. So I was very, when I was a child, I loved reading lyrics. Each time I get a textbook, I read it. And for my first bands, I started to write some songs, but not as much. But as Matthias, our guitarist, has left the band, who was responsible for the lyrics, somebody had to fill in. And at this point, this was for Tales from Beyond. Um, I brought some ideas of what could be the topics for the lyrics. And as he left the band, then Klaus asked me, maybe will you try to write it? And it was a talent that I didn't know I had at this time, but I totally digged into this world and I totally love to form words and to describe things. I love on lyrics that you have this limited range of words and sentences to transport a whole story. And there are certain bands who can do this very well, and I love to discover what they want to try to tell. And yeah, then on a way, I have some scientific background as well. So if I do lyrics, I do a lot of research, and I love totally to get into a topic and research. And for example, when we wrote about Sinister Light, for example, it has a it's from the album before. It deals with the topic of Sherlock Holmes and the Hound of Baskerville. So I read the book twice in German and in English to get some phrases, and then I read receptions of this book to filter out what are the meta parts of it, and then I've tried to write something out of it. And I have total fun with this kind of thing. So I don't know why it is, but I found some passion in this part, and I'm
You,
very happy nowadays.
you seem to feel very comfortable in that role, right?
Yeah, I'm happy. And for me, it's another way to express myself. That's if you do music, you of course do it to bring something from yourself into the music and to the people. And yeah, to be honest, as a keyboard player, keyboard is important for the music, but most people listen to the voice, to the guitar, to the drums, whatever. And sometimes you have to point out, hey, there are keyboards already. And for me, it's a good thing that I have now a second part in the music that I can use to express myself. And with the lyrics, I everybody hears the lyrics, so that's a good thing for me.
Yeah, yeah. Now you had been a band for what, 31 years and recording artist for 26. In your eyes, how did Mob Rules evolve?
Very good, I would say. The first two albums were a very good milestone, I guess. And then comes the time where Mob Rules tried to redefine itself. And I don't know what it was the best or good idea, but it's somehow like a life. So you start your journey and then you want to try out different things, different styles. And this was happened with Hollow Be the Name and Among the Gods. They went away. I say they because I wasn't in the band at the time. They went away from the main topic and tried something out. Then came this evolution theme and radical peace, where they really digged into progressive music and make long concepts and long songs that are connected. And I think it was very fruitful to test all this out. I joined the band then for Cannibal Nation, where we added some folk roots and get more into a little bit hard rock style. And then with Tales from Beyond, Beast Reborn, we redefined our classical metal sound, our power metal sound, and came back. And now it's a natural conclusion that we now go back to the first albums. Now the circle completes. And I think it's a good evolution. So now we are somehow back where we started, but we had this time where we learned and experimented with different styles and with different um, approaches to make music. And this also applies to our music now. So that is how Mob was musically evolved. Personal, we had a lot of changes in the band. Klaus was the last remaining member, but this was also very fruitful because everybody knew who joined the band, brought new influences, new ideas, new musical styles in it. And so I would say Mob Rules aged like a good wine or like a good whiskey. Though over the years we developed more flavors in our style and our sound.
Well, it certainly feels like it. In recent years, power metal had become very popular. There are a lot of bands, most of them excellent. Is there more pressure on a band like yours to keep up with that scene?
No, I would say for me it's a very good situation, I think, because the genre power metal, it was a long time when nobody really liked power metal, I would say. And yeah, if you said people, hey, I play the power metal band, most people like death metal and mellow death and all this stuff, or the part where here grindcore, everything was more popular. But then a lot of bands, like mention a few from Power Wolf to all the others, made power metal popular again. And I think it's a very good thing that even young people now discover power metal again. And for us, it's perfect because we exist so long. So we belong to the old bands. And if you dig into power metal, hopefully you somehow will find us as well. And we are not one of the band who now start power metal because it's popular right now, but we can say we can rely on the history and say, yeah, we made this when it was popular, we made this as it wasn't unpopular, and we made do it until today. So it's good for us that the
Yeah,
popularity is rising.
you certainly stuck to your guns and made it big. What are the touring plans for this album?
Our touring plans, yeah, we had to reorganize us as band a lot. So we changed our record label, and yes, we had a lot of work to finish the album and the bonus album as well. So we did not any touring plans right now, but there was a change of our record label. We also got a new touring booking agency. We now got Dragon Productions, and we are now in plannings and discussions for a tour, hopefully next year, the year after. So, and I guess it's a good idea to do it now because we've been away too long, and now with a new album that hopefully gets some good receptions, it's easier to create a tour and just to plan something. So that's the next step after the release. Our new booking agency and us, we will stick our heads together and hopefully be on the road again. And I really appreciate this. Studio time is great, but I want to go live.
Do you have any plans to possibly visit America?
Not right now. It's not that easy to come to America. Even it's one part is the coast, and then you have to go to the consul and get a working visa. And so our last visit was 2011 in the Prop Tower and 2007 in San Francisco and the Bay Area Festival. But yeah, it's not so easy to come for just only one show. So there would must be a festival or someone who invites us to come, then we can could make it possible. Playing a tour is even harder to organize, so it would be nice, but I can make no promise here.
No, no. I mean, things are tough in that regard. Touring is tough for bands that live here. I can only imagine how tough it is for bands from overseas, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
what is your life like outside of the band? Do you guys live close to each other? Like, how do you guys interact?
Oh, we live quite close to each other. We have so in an area about 50 kilometers. We're in the northern part of Germany. Each one of us has its job, of course. Besides the band, it would be great if you can live from music full time, but that's not possible and that's not needed anyway because so you have the freedom to do with music whatever you want. And we have our rehearsal room for me, it's about 30 kilometers away. But our guitarist Sven has a studio in his basement. So mainly it's that Klaus and Sven meet at his place and do the songwriting. I record my keyboards at home as well. Behind this banner, there are my keyboards. And when we have gigs, then we meet in rehearsal room, and of course we have our WhatsApp groups and phone a lot. Klaus is a guy who is full of ideas. I want to see don't know what want to see how it looked like inside his head. So it often happens that phone is ringing and Klaus said, "Can we do this or that? Or I have an idea. Why don't we try this and this out?" And so and then we try to make it possible. And for rehearsal, it's always great to meet each other, play together, play the songs. And when it comes to gigs and tours, we really enjoy the time together. It's like a small holiday to being on tour and not just doing music.
That's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you have your passion and you following it. So finally, after 7 years, a new album feels like a new start almost, right?
Yeah.
What are your hopes for this record?
Oh, my hopes. Yeah. I hope, first hope, the biggest hope is that everybody appreciates it and likes it. And the first reactions are very good. I'm very happy with this. Of course, you put so much time and effort in an album, and then you read the first receptions, and of course, you hope that it got good receptions. The next hope is from myself as a lyricist that people find the time and the pleasure to dig into the lyrics and understand the story. We made a series of four videos, maybe if you haven't seen them, really with this live action version of the story. It was a huge effort to create this, and we are really happy with the result. So I hope that people find the time to understand the story and appreciate it. And the next thing that it will bring us to a lot of stages because I want to play live. I want to play on festivals again. So that's my hope that we can play back to Savage Land for a big crowd on a big festival in summer. That's my biggest wish.
That sounds like a plan. Thank you for taking the time to speaking with me, and good luck with the new album.
Thank you very much and greetings to your place.